her car, her Malibu over in the corner, the plate's missing off of it. I found it on another Malibu a couple spots down. It's not registered to her, which is kind of strange.
Somebody swapped the plates on the cars? Have there been any issues with them that you know of?
Yeah. There's been several occasions that they went back and forth and had arguments. I know one time the police was called.
Say they ever escalate to violence, really?
He threw water on her several times. He took off in her car when she came out. She was getting ready to talk to him. He rolled her arm up in the window like to drag her down the street.
When the body of a beloved choir member is found stuffed inside a suitcase and dumped in a river, the discovery sends shockwaves through the community. Who would do something so brutal, and why? Aniya Mack, a bright college student with a promising future, mysteriously vanished on June 28, 2018. When she failed to show up for class, concern quickly turned to alarm. As police began investigating, they questioned her boyfriend, expecting routine answers. Instead, he dropped a bombshell. Aniya had been entangled in a secret, scandalous relationship, not with just anyone, but with her married pastor. He wasn't just her spiritual mentor, he was allegedly paying her rent, buying her gifts, and even giving her a car. But it didn't stop there. Investigators uncovered suspicious text messages that hinted at something far darker: blackmail. Her boyfriend was convinced that Aniya was using her affair with the pastor as leverage. But was that enough reason for murder? Or was there something even more sinister lurking beneath the surface? This is the story of the choir member who was killed and dumped in the river after a love text from her pastor. On a mild spring night in 2018, officers from the Kalamazoo Police Department responded to a call at Hunter Ridge Apartments, an off-campus housing complex for students of Western Michigan University. At first, it seemed like a routine welfare check. 24-year-old Aniya Mack had been out of touch with friends for days, an unusual occurrence for her because she was very outgoing.
It's unlikely
to just not answer her phone, it sounds like.
If anything is going on, I'm like pretty much the only person that she has here besides her family. But like me and her, we have been best friends for...
Though her best friend, Lenta Watson, had grown concerned when her calls went straight to voicemail.
I'm only 24, but we have been best friends our entire being, basically.
I got friends like that.
And it's driving me real crazy that if anything was going on, she would call me.
Aniya had also missed 2 days of work at the Great Lakes Alternative Research Center, where she helped children with autism. Just 3 months before she vanished, she had been thrilled about the opportunity. There was no way she would skip work without a reason. Her sudden silence was out of character.
If nobody, she would call me, I know for a fact.
She had any medical issues?
No.
No psychological orders?
Did she take any medication for anything?
As of right now, not to my knowledge. I'm doing inhaler when she needed.
Did she ever have any drug abuse issues?
No.
I mean, I'm not talking marijuana, so that's almost legal, like harder stuff than that.
Several friends had tried to reach her to no avail. Her childhood friend Dominic Thomas had also tried to reach her. After he couldn't get through, alarm bells went off in his head, so he contacted Aniya's mother, Loretta, in Louisiana, and together with Lenta, they called the police, begging them to carry out a welfare check on her. When officers arrived at her apartment, the situation immediately struck them as odd. Inside her apartment, a television was left on, casting flickering light across an otherwise silent apartment.
Roommate's room with the TV flashing. So looks like somebody is home at least.
All I know is I like to spray and dry.
He's working on getting a phone number for a roommate right now.
6-1.
Nobody's.
Did you hear what I found out about the plates?
The air conditioning was also on. It looked like it had been turned on recently, though no one was home. What's even more bizarre was that a bath had been fully drawn but untouched, sitting eerily still in the tub. Even stranger was the fact that there were 2 identical white Chevrolet Malibus parked outside.
Her car, her Malibu over in the corner, the plate's missing off of it. I found it on another Malibu a couple spots down. It's not registered to her, which is kind of strange.
Somebody swapped the plates on the cars?
One belonged to Aniya, but its license plate had been swapped with the second Malibu, registered to a man named Gustavo. Both vehicles had 2 flat tires, rendering them undrivable. Something wasn't right.
Yeah, there's a white Malibu that comes back to her by the VIN. No plate. The plate that belongs on it is on another Malibu. A few spots down, another white Malibu. Somebody else's name.
Gustavo fellow?
Yeah.
Officers contacted Aniya's roommate, Cora, who had been out of town.
Is this Cora? Cora, this is Aniya's best friend. Are you at home? Aniya has been missing for 2 days, to my understanding. I drove all the way here from Muskegon because yes, because the police are here as well.
Is she up there?
She's coming here. Okay, thank you.
She admitted she hadn't seen Aniya since before the weekend, but noted that someone had been inside the apartment that day. Clothes had been washed and the air conditioning had been switched on. It was clear that someone had entered after Aniya vanished.
Both of her cars are here. Boyfriend has no car. Her best friend, her parents, her godsister, her pastor, she's been at work.
As the investigation intensified, officers learned that Aniya had a boyfriend, 25-year-old Donovan Lewis. A former basketball player and lifeguard, he had recently returned to Kalamazoo after living in Indianapolis. According to friends, the couple had a toxic relationship.
Have there been any issues with them that you know of?
Yeah. There's been several occasions that they went back and forth and had arguments. I know one time the police was called.
Say they ever escalate the violence, really?
The officers questioned Aniya's best friend about Donovan, specifically about how their relationship seemed before that morning, and Lenta admitted the last time she heard anything about their relationship was when Donovan threw water on Aniya and tried to drag her across the street in a moving car.
He threw water on her several times. He took off in her car when she came out. She was getting ready to talk to him. He rolled her arm up in the window like to drag her down the street.
At this point, Aniya's roommate was back, and the cops got to talk to her. She confirmed the cops' suspicions that there was foul play involved.
When was the last time you were here before?
This morning I came back from work around like 6 and I went to the movies and I came back here.
When's the last time you saw her?
Not before Saturday. I left home for graduation. I graduated Saturday.
Okay.
The first thing she pointed out was that other than the AC being turned on, someone had put clothes in the washer, which means someone had been in the apartment before she came back from her graduation ceremony.
This is her room right here. But someone was here today because they turned on the air and they put some clothes in the washer. When I was gone, I thought maybe she came.
Cora said she just assumed it was Aniya that had been in the apartment, so she didn't think to report Anthung. She also told investigators she left the apartment at 6 a.m. Cora was also asked about Donovan, if she had seen him around lately, and how he looked when she last saw him.
Have you seen her boyfriend around here?
I haven't seen anybody, honestly. But I left for the weekend, so I thought maybe she just went home. But I really haven't seen her.
There were also other weird things that suggested Aniya didn't travel or anything like that. Her makeup bag was still intact and on her dresser.
Let's check with the inmate, see if maybe she's got something.
Like if she was going somewhere, she definitely would pack her makeup. That's here. This looks like what would be her purse. A bag that she do her hair stuff with. That's here. Like I'm just like, what the fuck?
They also asked her if she was the one that filled the tub, and she said no. In fact, she said she knew someone had definitely been in the apartment because the tub wasn't full when she left at 6 a.m.
Can you ask her to use the bathtub in here? Hey, Jerry. What's up? Can you ask her if she uses the bathtub? It's like full of water.
Then they asked Cora if it was normal for Aniya's boyfriend to come to his laundry at the apartment, and she said yes, adding that Aniya and Donovan regularly did their laundry together. But while Cora said Aniya and Donovan did their laundry together, she remembered that Donovan didn't have a key, which meant he couldn't get in unless Aniya was home and let him in.
Yeah, somebody definitely came in today, for sure. Because when I left, the air wasn't on.
Does her boyfriend ever come over here and do any laundry or anything?
Yeah, they always do laundry together.
Okay.
So it's not like out of the ordinary.
Does he have a key?
I don't think so.
Donovan, of course, became the #1 suspect immediately. Detectives tried reaching him for questioning, but he was nowhere to be found. His phone went unanswered. When they finally tracked down his mother's house, no one answered the door. Then, a break. Aniya's godsister, Lawenda, informed police that Donovan was working an overnight shift at a local medical equipment company. Officers decided to wait for him outside Aniya's apartment. That's when the night took an unexpected and horrifying turn.
That's what I'm saying, like somebody was here because I don't think he has a key. Usually if he's coming, like I'll leave the door unlocked, like if I know he's here, or like she'll leave the door unlocked. I don't just heard you.
I guess we'll wait outside for a little bit, see if he shows up. I feel like you'd be a little bit more concerned if your girlfriend's missing, don't you think? Just the one person who hasn't talked to us all yet.
The officers decided to wait for Donovan. They had a sneaking suspicion he was the one who had been in the apartment, and they desperately wanted to hear his side of the story. The whole case was already confusing. On the one hand, Aniya could have skipped out town with a new boyfriend.
It could be nothing. Maybe she's out with a new boyfriend, but why would she completely cut off everybody?
But if that was the case, why would she cut everyone off and miss her very important work that she loved and worked hard for?
I feel like this film was just being detectives.
Yeah. I definitely think this is detective worthy, like now. So I think something fishy is going on here.
As officers stood outside discussing their next steps, a man suddenly emerged from the shadows, walking toward them. It was Donovan Lewis, and without hesitation, he asked them to take him in, and when they asked him who he was or why, he confessed something quite bizarre.
What's going on, sir? Take me here and we'll talk about it on the way.
Just tell me now.
I killed my girlfriend.
6160. Can you come to the apartment, please? Where is she?
A stunned silence fell over everyone. Within moments, Donovan was handcuffed and placed into the back of a police cruiser. As officers read him his rights, he offered a full confession. He spoke calmly, as if unburdening himself of a secret too heavy to carry.
We're out with boyfriend. He's reporting at 10:35.
He confessed to having unalived Aniya because he found out she was messing with another man, and he couldn't take it. He explained that on Sunday, June 24th, 2018, he and Aniya had argued. She had accused him of not contributing financially and told him she wanted him to leave. She even grabbed one of his suitcases and began packing his things. That's when he snapped. In a rage, Donovan struck her, knocking her unconscious. He left the room, retrieved a butcher knife from the kitchen, and returned. Then, he slit her throat. Not content with that, he struck her repeatedly with the knife. Afterwards, he told officers he placed a garbage bag over her head and stuffed her body into a suitcase. Then he drove for miles looking for the perfect place to hide the body. He dumped the suitcase in a dumpster outside the apartment complex, but fearing it would be discovered, he retrieved it the next night, loaded it into his mother's van, and drove to Comstock Creek, where he submerged it in the water.
Where is she?
Silver Creek.
Where at? You got any weapons on you, Donovan?
I don't have anything, so.
You get pat down. Alright, I gotta read some stuff to you real quick, okay?
The officers read Donovan his rights before handcuffing him and putting him at the back of the cop cat.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you before or during any questioning.
Donovan's confession sent detectives scrambling to verify his claims. Searching Aniya's apartment, they found small but telling bloodstains on the hallway floor, the bedroom carpet, and even her bed frame. He had attempted to clean up, washing the bath mats and disposing of his own clothes at his mother's house. But one detail stood out. Donovan claimed Aniya had been involved with someone else, not just anyone, her pastor. According to Donovan, Aniya had been having an affair with Strickland, a well-known pastor at the Second Baptist Church and president of the local NAACP.
From the beginning, what's going on?
Indianapolis. Back there long. Couldn't pay rent.
Hey, give me 1 second, okay? 612.
Donovan claimed the pastor had been financially supporting her, paying her rent, and even giving her a second car, the mysterious Malibu parked outside.
612 here, car note. So, 6 my understanding.
That's your require my last traffic. We got one in custody.
Fantastic.
Donovan went on to say that when he got back to town after being away for a bit, he found out Aniya was seeing someone.
I got back in town about a week ago, or 3 weeks ago, on the 16th. I found out, I went to her phone, and I found out they're messing around.
He said at first, they talked it out and he told her he understood why she had to do what she did since he wasn't there to take care of her.
I try to get over it. I told her it's okay, I understand what you did, I respect that you took care of yourself.
After that, they had a good time and everything went back to normal between them.
We moved forward and we had a great couple weeks.
Except, it didn't go all the way back to normal, and Donovan harbored some resentments against Aniya, which led to an explosive argument. The argument started because Aniya wanted him to do more for her financially, which was hard because he had just moved back and didn't have a job yet.
Sunday, we had an argument, because I just moved back, so I don't have a job, I don't have the money. The week before, Sunday, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know, she told me, you're not doing enough. I told her I could call my dad, ask for some help, and whatever.
He said he offered to call his dad to get financial help so he could take care of her, but according to him, it still wasn't enough for her.
He just basically bashed me and told me all of this shit, told me everything about me. All right. Saturday, Sunday came.
Let's have a seat in the back of my car real quick.
According to Donovan's confession, he tried to get over Aniya's affair with the pastor, but found himself struggling with it, especially when she wouldn't stop demanding he provide more for her. And that's when he snapped.
Hey, sit tight, okay? Well, he straight up admitted to it, everything. He said she's out in the river on the east side of the city somewhere.
East side of the city?
Yeah.
Detectives confronted Pastor Strick, who denied everything. He insisted Aniya was just a member of his congregation. But when pressed, Donovan admitted that Aniya had never actually confessed to an affair, only that she had allegedly manipulated the pastor for money. Later, Strickland contacted the police again. This time, he wanted the car back. But he had no proof of ownership, and the story didn't end there. Months later, Strick was arrested, and it had nothing to do with Aniya, or at least not at first. 3 teenage boys from his congregation accused him and his wife of saying them, coercing them into unwanted encounters.
3 different things, those bang teens for sex, CSC, and pandering.
Text messages and photographs taken from the victims' phones corroborated their stories.
But given your role at the church, is it typical for you to give teens, boys in the community money?
Well, there are a lot of programs through the church that help kids out.
But does Pastor Strickland personally give kids money himself?
Eventually, Strickland took a plea deal, admitting to using a vehicle to solicit women of the night.
That is, during that time within the county, did you knowingly offer to sell transportation services to TH and or TJ that facilitated travel for the purpose of engaging in what would be a violation of the laws governing prostitution?
Yes.
He was sentenced to just 1 year in prison and had this to say.
Today, to be pious and to pretend as though I am innocent and without fault. However, I am not guilty of what I was accused of. I am glad that the 10 most heinous charges were dismissed, and eventually the prosecutors, with their backs against the wall, made a deal that I believe was too good of a deal to put my family through the risk of going through a trial.
Meanwhile, Aniya's family was left to mourn. Aniya's remains were recovered from Comstock Creek, just as Donovan had described. Now, believe it or not, this case is about to hit a new level of strange. 3 days before his murder trial was set to begin, Donovan attempted a daring escape from the Kalamazoo County Jail. During recreation time, he sprinted toward the perimeter, scaled 2 razor wire fences, and disappeared into the night.
It appears that he was able to just find a spot and get over it without injuring himself. The first level is a barbed wire fence, and the second level is razor wire. The person in custody was able to get over both of those. Then they went over the barbed wire fence that contains the business loop of I-94, and the jail jumpsuit was found approximately 100 yards south of that spot.
But his freedom lasted just over half an hour. He was quickly captured and brought back into custody. He claimed he wasn't running from justice, but from supposed threats against his family, though no evidence of these threats was ever presented. In the end, Donovan took a plea deal, avoiding the death penalty. He was sentenced to 25 to 40 years for second-degree murder, plus an additional sentence for his escape attempt. At sentencing, he addressed Aniya's family.
I can't imagine the hurt that I've caused. I don't even know the beginning. I just want to say sorry to the family. That's all.
But forgiveness would not come easily.
Wow. He had to live with it for the rest of his life. You know, whether he was sincere with what he said in the courtroom or not, he has to live with it. And I hope he can. And I meant that. I haven't forgiven him. My sister, I haven't.
Aniya didn't deserve any of this. She didn't deserve to be hit. She didn't deserve to be stabbed. And she certainly didn't deserve to be treated like garbage. To celebrate the life she lived, Aniya's family wore bright colors to her funeral, honoring her wish that they not mourn in black. They spoke of her love, her kindness, and her dreams that had been stolen.
Clearly, she was one of the most loving people. She loved a monster, so that says a lot about her personality and her as a person.
And so, a young woman full of promise was gone, her life ended by someone she once trusted. A tragedy that started as a missing persons case became a tale of violence, betrayal, and deep, dark secrets. Secrets that, once uncovered, shook a community to its core. Aniya Mack was a bright, ambitious woman with a future full of possibilities. But in the end, the person who claimed to love her the most was the one who took it all away. Her story is a painful reminder of how quickly toxic relationships can escalate. If there's one thing to take away from this case, it's that silence can be a warning sign. When someone you love suddenly goes quiet, don't ignore that gut feeling. Reach out, ask questions, and push for answers. It just might save a life. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the case of Aniya Mack. If you found this story compelling, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode. And as always, stay safe, stay aware, and take care of each other.